Well, hello, I'm Addi, and this is my YouTube channel Yarn Creations, where I share with you all my creations with yarn. I show some knitting, crocheting, and sometimes weaving. I thought that today I would concentrate more on my works in progress. In the previous episode I showed you a lot of, not a lot, but I showed you the cardigan I did, the Maya cardigan, and the two sweaters I'm busy with, the Tecumseh and just the mold raglan sweater I'm also busy with. Thank you so much for joining me today, and I would love for you to try and stay as long as possible so that I can get more exposure on YouTube. So let's see how long I can keep you occupied. I will just quickly talk about what I'm wearing. This is a very heavily modified Penguono by Stephen West. I used 3 strands of merino lace singles, and sometimes I replaced one of the lace singles with a strand of mohair, but not a lot, but just a little bit. I wasn't sure how my skin will react with the mohair, but I think I will use it more in future because I've got mohair in around my neck, so just so that I can see how it wears and how it feels. So yes, what can I say about it? You do start at the back. So you can see that I did not do the welts. I don't think I'll feel comfortable with the welts on my back. I tried to use more blues and a little bit of light mauvey pink and a little bit of purplish blue colors. So you start at the back and then you come around to the sides, and then you come to the front a little bit. Sorry for the creaking bed I'm sitting on, but in my house I think this is the best spot that I can make this episode. And then I stopped earlier with the front section and with the decreases, because you decrease in the front, yeah. And then I did the bottom part. You can see there, so I picked up stitches here and I did this garter bottom part, a little bit longer than in the pattern because mine was quite short. I used 3.75mm needles, so my gauge is much smaller than in the pattern because the sizes are all determined by your gauge. So yes, I needed mine longer. I did a few short rows at the back, and then I continued with this last section here. And I did some short rows. So I did 3 sets of short rows, and then 1 row going up with a decrease, and then 3 sets of short rows, and then 1 row going up with a decrease and back. So I did that until I tried it on a lot, and until it reached a comfortable, because I didn't want it to overlap. I just wanted it to hang straight, the edges straight here, and then I just £1 off. Now I think I first did this collar, but also much smaller than the pattern asked for, and then I just did one row right through and just an ordinary, I think it was a Norwegian Icelandic bind off. And then I didn't do the full sleeves. I just picked up stitches all around and did 5 or 6 sets of the moss stitch. So mine doesn't have the sleeves. I love this for our climate, for spring and autumn, with a long sleeve t-shirt underneath. It's perfect. It's light and comfortable and just give you a little bit of warmth. Sorry, I had a bit of a something in my throat. I just had to go and grab some water. So that is my take on the Penguono. And then I just want to quickly show you, because this is a very recently finished object. It's the Concurrent by Bloomhandmadestudio. It's a brioche, very nice brioche stitch. So you are using 2 colors that you are changing. Actually very clever and very simple way of doing 2 colors on one side. And of course the other side will be just the opposite. So there is the light color will be the dark color on this side, and then the dark color here will be the light color on the other side. So this is called Concurrent, and I used Misslamotte. It will be all wrong way around. The one color, the light color, is rustic silver slate, and the dark color is called space blue. And I really like the rustic silver slate. Has got these very subtle speckles in. I want to try and find some of them for you. I hope you can see that. Just that very subtle speckling. There you can also see it at the bottom. So that is Concurrent. I did a little bit of a miscalculation. I only had 1 skein of each. It's merino singles. And I used most of it. This is what I have left. I could have done one repeat extra, but I think I just felt that I had enough. I think it's still wearable. This, to make a double length, because 2 skeins will make it, I think this is only half of what you are supposed to make, to knit. And for our climate, with this width, that will be too warm and uncomfortable. So I think it's fine, and it actually goes with my Penguono, so I can just wear it like this. It's quite long enough. Or I can always just use something to pin it and then show it off. So yes, I'm happy this is finished, because I started this in January. I bought the 2 skeins of yarn from I Love Yarn in George, and I started it on the day I came back from a holiday with one of my friends there, and knitted on it in between other projects ever since. I like the I-cord. You start with the I-cord, and you've got this I-cord on the sides as well. So yeah, it's really very nice effect. I can really wear it quite nicely with what I've got on. It seems that today's episode is all about all the breaks, and one of those episodes that I've recorded in the past that I never uploaded because of me not thinking that it's good enough, and lots of things that I don't think is right because I don't edit. I just can't find a way to edit because I don't have iOS. I'm using Android. So yes, that's just how it is. So I think then I will talk about my whips now. So the first one, I've showed this on the Skapie chat with Leonie and Mariette. I did when, if you look at my the episode I did about the Skapie projects, I did link both the episodes on both their channels that we had the Skapie chats about 2 weeks ago, I think 2.5 weeks ago. And one of the things I showed there is my granny square blanket. So I'm using Opal leftovers. That's how it started, with Opal leftovers. And then I had to use a little bit, I pinched a little bit from some full balls of Opal, just so that I can spread out the squares I made of the leftovers, so that I don't have all the bluish colors on one spot. I wanted them to be evenly spaced out. But I think this will now go into hibernation, so that I can first knit socks with the lovely opals I have, and then use all the leftovers to make granny squares for the blanket, because that was the original purpose when I started this blanket, is for my opal leftovers. And not the opals that are too speckly. I'm trying to use the opals with a little bit longer color changes. There's 1 or 2 that does have, you can see there's one that's quite speckly there. I don't mind if there's a few spaced in between the others, but I don't want too many of them, so I can't use all the opal. Someone asked me, can she use Sassenach or Regia in between? It will all depend on the look, the effect that you want on the blanket. For me, this is exactly the effect that I wanted. And I'm not sure how the Regia or the Sassenach yarns will look, if they will look different. I don't have a lot scraps in them. I've got, I think, one or 2, and they are very solidly striped. So they are not like these opals, so I don't think that is going to work with these. I'll rather do something else with, if I've got a lot of leftovers in Regia or Sassenach, I'll do something else with them. But in this blanket it's only opal, And I've got this lovely, because I've only got one 2.75 crochet hook, and I don't want to leave it in with a blanket because this is going into hibernation until because I'm very slow on the socks at the moment. So I don't want to leave, I've only got one, I don't want to leave it in there, my tulip 2.75 hook. So I've got these cute little hook size markers from Colors of Amalfi. It says I'm using my 2.75, and I will leave that in the blanket. I've also got, where is it? Is it still here? It's supposed to be here. Yes. Granny Square stitch marker or placeholder. That was a gift from Be Inspired when I was at the yarn retreat in March. We got a very nice little goodie bag, and the stitch marker from Be Inspired was in there. So I thought that a granny square stitch marker belongs on a granny square project. I did make a little video about my process of how I'm making the squares, and especially how I join them. So I'm not going to explain that all in this video. I will see if I don't know what will be the best. If this video is too long, this episode, then I will upload it separately. Otherwise, I can always add it at the end. But as I said, I'm not good with editing, so I'm not sure if that will work, and it takes very long to save. If I change something or add something to this video, it takes a long time to save, because my phone is over 3 years old, I think. And I don't like upgrading. It's such a schlep. So I'm trying to hold onto this phone as long as possible. So if that doesn't work, I will upload it separately. But please forgive there's a little bit of shakiness, especially in the start and at the end. My cat decided that she wants to be on this blanket and in the camera as well. So please forgive me for that. It's not professional, but and I want to upload that video for myself as well, so that when after 6 months or even a year I come back to this, I can go and watch the video to see exactly how I joined the squares, because I can sometimes forget how I'm doing something. So yes, I think I've got 56 squares at the moment, so it's still not very big. Yeah, I'm not even sure. I've got no idea or no plan of how big it's going to be. It will all depend on the yarn that I've got, and so this is a very long-term project. So yes, that's something that you will not see again soon. And what else do I have? Okay, I've got my the mandala I'm working with. In my Skapie episode that I uploaded, I did tell you that I showed you the very, very little small inside that I'm going to do my YarnCreations mandala again. That's a recipe I did in 2018. I showed you the other mandalas I did on this pattern or recipe. It's very simple, nothing complicated. I don't do complicated when it comes to crochet. I don't know why. I love the simplicity of the single crochet and half double crochet. That's my two favorite stitches to work with. And yes, that's what I like in crochet. So I'm using Oneofakind Yarns 4-ply. It's a I will say it's a light worsted. It's got approximately, I think, 190 meters on 100 gram. I've got, I will say that I think I'm through my leftover little bits, and I will then, it will then become more of a stash buster project. So I've got a little basket with some of the colors. I'm trying to keep in a color palette of blues and wine burgundy colors. There's a few variegated in the same. Here's also a dark blue, but it's all yarns that were already caked up. I didn't what does Stephen West say? If a full skein of yarn is caked up, it's part of leftovers and scraps. That's how I see it as well. So I just took all my my caked up yarns. Some of them was full skeins that I don't think I used, for caked up for some or other reason for a project and didn't use. So that's what I'm going to use first. And I really, I'm going to try and do all 100 rounds. I think I'm up to round 35. I want to post another picture on Instagram. I haven't since I've done up to here. So I'm up to round 35, and it's got 100 rounds. So I've still got a lot to do, but I'm in no hurry. It's my relaxing, just meditative crocheting throughout. I'm really sorry. It's something that I find that I do a lot, and I'm not sure if maybe people are put off by that, but it seems that I'm blinking my eyes a lot. And I'm not really sure how to stop that from happening. If it's something I do all the time, or if it's something I do only when I'm podcasting, I'm not sure. I'm going to try and blink less, but I know that there is reasons for that I'm not going to go into now, because this is not a medical podcast or a health podcast. So I know there is reasons for that, and maybe one day I'll be able to get myself so far to do something about it. So forgive that if I'm blinking a lot. It seems that that's what I do, and I know I have to do something about it, and I'm putting it off and putting it off, but one day I will definitely do it. I have to do it. One of those things I'll have to do. So this is at the moment, it's more of a stash busting project. I did make I did have some little bit of leftovers that wasn't enough for a whole round on this. So I made a small one with only 14 rounds. I think it's very pretty, the same colors, and I think I did 14 rounds, and then I just did a single crochet, chain 2, single crochet in every chain 2 space that was created in round 14. And at the moment I've got this beautiful rose I got on Sunday from my daughter-in-law. And it's I've got this small mandala with the rose standing on it. So that is my one work in progress that will I think it will take longer and longer to do around, but I don't mind. It's just my Zen project. And the other project that crochet project that I'm busy with, so are we all on the crochet at the moment? Yeah, it seems like I'm doing my crochet projects first. Is the ripple, the neat ripple that I'm busy with. It's a slice of cake from Itsy Klein. I think I left it in here because that is, I was busy with this color when I showed it on the Skapie chat. So I did add one more color, and I will just move that up so that I can make sure that I've made some progress when I show it next time. I'm doing 3 rows of each color so that my ends are on both sides. If you do only 2 rows, all your ends will be on one side. So I'm trying to avoid that, and yeah, doing 3 rows, no ends woven in yet. I suppose I will have to start with that. It's a Knit Ripple by Addi 24. And I'm trying to use all green, blue, grey colors. It's a very wildly variegated one, but I will have to use it again. But it's got some greens in, that's why I thought I can use it. And it's 2-ply Supertwist merino, all yarns that were already caked up. Some of them left over, some of them just used maybe a little bit, from Oneofakind Yarns and Cowgirlblues. It's just over 1 meter wide. I think it's about 1 meter, 107 centimeters. That is a comfortable width for me for a nice lap blanket, and with a some edging on the sides. It will still be a little bit wider, about 110 or 115 centimeters. That's fine for me. Yeah, so busy with that. Slow progress with all the other projects I'm busy with. So at the moment I've got, for crochet works in progress, I've got the mandala and this, my ripple blanket. I've still got, what I wanted to say is, for the mandala I'm using a 4mm. Do I have it here? Do I? Doesn't seem supposed to be here, but it seems that it's not. 4mm, yeah, I'm using a 4mm crochet hook right at the bottom of the basket. My 4mm crochet tulip hook, that is my absolute favorite crochet hooks. It's very smooth and very ergonomical, that because I'm a I hold my crochet hook like this, so I suppose it's a knife grip, and I just love, it's a bit colored from all the dyed yarns. It's not and it's used a lot, but yeah, I find this very comfortable for me. I find that the bigger sizes, I do use some clover crochet hooks as well. This part of the tulip and the crochet are, in my opinion, much the same, but I do find that the bigger sizes of the clover hooks are not so comfortable for me to hold. I find the tulips nicer for me to hold. So that is the 4mm for the mandala, and for the ripple I'm using a 3.5, and this is a clover hook. so it's still fine. But the bigger sizes, the bigger the size of the hook, the bigger this grip part becomes. So I think up to a 4mm is fine, but not bigger than that. But yeah, I do like my clover hooks as well. So for this ripple, I'm using a 3.5. So that is the crochet projects. So I'm really showing you all the works in progress except for my 2 sweaters, as I mentioned, because they I'm almost done with the second sleeve of the tecumseh. So hopefully next time I can show you progress on a finished object, a finished sweater, and some progress on my mold sweater. Something I can show you this time, because it's on my small loom, is some weaving. This is my, how can I show this to you? This is my 30cm Ashford knitter's loom, and I've got a scarf on here. I'm using, let me just put this down. I'm using Oneofakind Yarns 4-ply worsted, the same base that I'm using for the mandala. This is the 2 colors I'm using. And here they are on the shuttles. I love my 30cm loom. It's so portable, and if I want to go and weave somewhere, I can just take it as it is and put it in my car and go anywhere and sit and weave. And if I'm not using it, the knitter's loom is the one that folds up and that has a bag. That's why it's a little bit more expensive than the rigid heddle, because it folds up, and it's got a very nice sturdy bag that you can put it in and stow it away if you so want to, or travel with it. And it's called a knitter's loom because of the fact that you can take it anywhere, like you would take your knitting project. Okay, so that is what I'm weaving. I've got 1 or 2 weaving projects that I've done. I haven't woven that much this year, but I've got 1 or 2 projects that I did, that maybe next time I'll try and remember to show them to you. So my other big project, let me just get it because it's in a very big, let me just make, I'm just going to pause and make a switch. Okay, so this is a long-term project, and it's housed because of the fact that it will be a long-term project, and I will probably not work on it in the mid of summer. I've decided to put it in a big plastic container so that I can close the lid and stow it away when it's too hot to work on it, and not worry, because it's not going to be done soon. That's for sure. And that is a Fairisle blanket I've started. I'm knitting it in the round with a stick. So there's my stick stitches. So I will be, I don't even have to, but I will probably do a crochet reinforcement just for a knit edge, and then I will cut it open there and that will be folded in, and then I will pick up stitches and knit a border. That will probably happen in, where are we now? I think in about 2025, I suppose. But that's okay. I've started this project knowing that it's going to be a long-term project, so I'm not in no hurry to finish it, because I can't work on it too much. It does, my hands do get tired. I don't know why. It's not that I'm stressed or anything when I'm working on it. It's maybe just the way I'm knitting color work, or maybe it's just, I don't know. But I try to work on it because I've got so many works in progress. I'm trying to work on it on Fridays, when it's Fairisle Friday. That's my day that I like to work on it, and I do make some progress. I can complete a whole pattern section like this on a day, or maybe a little bit more. This is a small one. I think I did this and the small one last Friday. I will have to get a nice stitch marker to put in here, so that I know where I was when I show it to you again. I've gone through all my different types of knitting needles. Knit Pro, tulip, I love my tulip knitting needles. And at the end, I think my Chiagu bamboo needles is working the best. I've got a variety of knitting needles. But that's part of the craft, part of the hobby. It's all the accessories and all the different ones and different needles for different projects. That's me. That's what I wanted to say for the brioche. I also like to use my Chiagus. I did use the metal ones. For merino singles, I use a 3.25 when I do brioche. I think it knits it, and then I know it's going to be neat. Otherwise the stitches are too loose. And I like a needle with a sharper point for brioche, because it's much easier to do your increases and decreases, because they are a little bit more complicated. You have to shift stitches from the one needle to the other needle and back sometimes. And I find that a needle with a sharper tip makes it easier to do those increases and decreases in the brioche. So I've got my red cable on the wooden ones. I prefer wood or bamboo needles. I think this is bamboo. I think so. So it's working. Yeah, I like how it's knitting up. So I've decided that I will keep them on this needles. I think this is the third set that I've tried, and I think that is the best for me. And here is my ends, but there won't be any need to weave in any ends, because this is in the middle of my stick. I'm just knotting the yarns, and then when I'm going to cut, I will cut them short. I don't want to cut them too short now, but I will cut them short, and then they will be cut. They will be in the middle where I cut, so there will be no ends to weave in. Isn't that just amazing? Because there are a lot, as you can see, with the color work and all the colors changing a lot. There's a lot of ends. And I just want to maybe show you my floats. Okay, so the yarns I'm using, I suppose that is something that I have to tell you about. is the yarns that I bought when I was in Norway in 2019. It was a very affordable yarn available in all the yarn shops. That's the go-to 100% Norwegian wool yarn, affordable yarn that they use in Norway, and that's what I wanted to buy when I was there. I didn't want to buy merino because that is what we get a lot of here. So I wanted to buy Norwegian yarn, Norwegian pure wool. And the one I'm bought two different brands. The one is Rauma finull yarn. Beautiful, beautiful yarns. Some of them are, you can see they're like a mold yarn almost. And the other one is the, just get a ball band, one with a ball band, is the Sandnesgarn Tove. I don't know how to pronounce it. Sandnesgarn. They are the same yarn weight, more or less, and they really do work well together. So I'm using all the colors that I have. They just I just have to work with them because that is what I have, and I want to incorporate them all in this throw as a nice memory of my trip and the yarns. And yeah, so I did buy quite a few. I've got very nice colors, some blues, and I think I want to use these two next. I always try to have a little bit of contrast in the patterning, so that you can see the pattern clearly. So I think that's the two I'm going to use next. I'm using the Sassenach cushion, the charts. At the moment I'm using the charts from the Sassenach cushion. It was a knit along and a crochet along. The patterns were designed by Newleafdesigns, and I'm not using, this is a free pattern so I can show you, I'm not using these big charts. I might, no, I don't think, for instance this one, it's too bold and too big, so I don't think I will use this, but I do like these smaller ones. So at the moment I'm using them if they are between, say, 3-4 rows up to 11-12 rows. That's the one that I use. Some of them I can use part of the chart or half of the chart, like this last one that I did. I only, there's still as this is actually double in the chart, but I only used half of it, and then the arrows go the other direction, so I will use the other half of the chart later on. So I try to use only the smaller charts, that's not very big panels. Not sure if I'm explaining that correctly. So yeah, I love this Addi Magnetic board. It's got this magnetic ruler, and I use it all the time. In fact, I've got two of them. I think I bought them from Skapie, if I remember correctly. So it works very well if you put your pattern on the board and then use the magnetic ruler. And I always put the ruler on top of the row that I'm busy with, so that I can see what I've just done and compare it with my knitting, and then the row I'm busy with is just below the ruler. and that works very well for me. I'm using the colors in the charts as guidelines, but I've printed, I think, 2 of the colorways, because there's 3 colorways. I've printed 2 of them, sometimes the 3rd one as well, because the 3rd one is more pink rose colors, and I've got a few of them, so that I can get some ideas of color placements on those the chart I'm busy with. So that is, if I'm done with these charts, some of them I want to repeat. I do like using them, they're very pretty, and I might stick to this and repeat them. Or what I can do is, I've also got this book. It's the a book from Mary Jane Mucklestone, 200 Fairisle Designs. A very nice book. I will put the name in the description. I always put all the names, not necessarily always links, but I will try and put all the names in the description. And if I don't, please ask me, and then I will just add it. So this is also a very nice book with lots, 200 Fairisle designs in it, and she says exactly how many stitches you need for each one. So there is some of them. I bought this book on Loot, and they've got, I can buy I just have to behave myself when I'm on Loot, because there are a lot of books that I really think I need, and I have bought some stunning books on Loot. A lot of the famous books are there available. They do import it. Sometimes you have to wait, but you do get it eventually after a month or so, and they do keep you updated on when to expect the book to arrive. So yeah, if I want to, I can still use some of these charts, and I've got other resources as well, but I don't want to make it too complicated. So that is one of the big projects that will probably take a few years to get done. And then there's not much else. I've got a sock, but that's in the car. That's my on-the-go project. We've got a visitor. Why do they love podcasting so much? Yaleen, you will know from the Lekker podcast. She also has one of her cats visiting her when she's podcasting. It's as if they are drawn to a camera, and I don't know. And I think it's all the wool and all the projects as well. That's also something they like very, very much. Another project I'm busy with. Oh, but do I have? I will just have to pause again to see where the pattern is. Found it eventually. It's the Emmalin cowl by Sari Nordlund. I'm also doing one or two changes on this, not really modifications. I'm using merino singles. This grey charcoal one is from Bar. She's no longer, she's now Indiebelle fibres, but she's not dyeing anymore. Color is blackout. And then this lovely pink speckle is from Misslamotteyarns. Still, I've been buying yarn from her for quite a while, and this is her older label, I think, and it's called Rose Tints. And where am I haven't worked on this for a while because this is also one of my, actually I can call it a travel project, because I'm done with the color work. It's a bit crinkle, it's been in my bag for a while, but I'm done with the color work. I did not, this is actually, this part of the color work is bigger. I stopped, I didn't do all of it. So this is in the chart, and then so you do a provisional cast on. Let me show you the other side, it's maybe a little bit better. So you do a provisional cast on, and then you start with that chart, and then you do this chart, and that's more rows in the chart than I did. I stopped, and then you do this again, and then you go back to that, and then you are done. So I decided that will be maybe a little bit too bulky, and because it's color work, so it's double, because the second part that you do, you fold it in and then you graft it together. So that's double fabric folded double. And I was thinking that that might be a little bit too hot for our South African climate. So I've made this a little bit narrower, and then I did that. And now I'm just doing the charcoal with a little bit of the pink in between. So my layer that I'm going to fold in and graft will be a single layer and not another double layer of fabric, because you do have there's the floats, so it's although it is singles, it's quite a warm dense fabric, and I didn't want that. And to do this only single, I don't think, what I like is the fact that you do fold it and it's double. So this will not be showing when you're wearing it, because you will see this charcoal on the inside. So it will cover all your floats, and then you graft it together with this provisional cast on at the bottom. So this is very nice, actually, travel mindless knitting. That's why I'm not actually working on it at the moment. I'm more concentrating on garments for me at the moment, because it's cold here and it's winter. So this I'm not in a hurry to finish this, but I do like it. I think it's lovely. I love the color work part I did on my own when it's quiet, with not too many interruptions, because every row is different. So that wasn't something I could travel with. But now that I've only got this mindless part that's going to be on the inside, that's actually a nice travel project. So that's why I don't want to finish it. I don't want to work on it when I'm at home, because then when I'm traveling or going somewhere for a weekend or whatever, then I have to find and cast on something new and find something new that I can travel with. So that's why I just keep this in my bag to work on when I'm social knitting or whatever. So I'm just going to repeat this just to have something interesting going on, and not so that it's just rounds and rounds and rounds of the charcoal, but that the fold will be there. So this will be the outside, and then the inside will look like that. I'm using, because this is also a long-term project, I'm using needles that I don't need for another project. It's 3.25 Knit Pro. Okay, so that is the Emmalin cowl by Sari Nordlund. I've got quite a few of these lovely bags. They're perfect for a cowl or a shawl. This one, they were made by Brilliant Mummy bags. She's not making bags anymore, but luckily I've got a few that I can use. Phew, this is getting long, so I think I will just show you one other project. That's more or less then all my works in progress and all my projects. Is the Skapie shawl that I also showed on the Skapie chat. This is also something I'm not really working on when I'm at home. This is also a very nice travel project that I keep for social knitting or travel knitting. And I'm using scraps of merino singles. I did make a short little vlog episode where I explain how I work on this and how I do it, and the recipe is below that episode. Just scroll down, because there isn't so many episodes on my channel at the moment between this and what this one that I will be posting. So you start here and you just increase on the one side and decrease on the other side, and then every I do 3 garter ridges and then an eyelet row. And I'm using again, I think because it's singles, I'm using, they are also very colored because of hand dyed yarns and lots of knitting, tulip needles, 3.25, and I do like these needle protectors. You can buy them from Colors of Amalfi or from Skapie. I always put them on my, or I put my bamboo needles inside them like this, and then my needles are protected because this is a travel project. I find that it works quite well, and I'm really using all my, so those 2 little leftovers from this Concurrent scarf will also go into this, also a Brilliant Mummy bag of a long time ago, but it's very pretty. I love this size. So they will also go in here. I will also use them for this shawl, scarf, and I've just got a lot of little nuggets of different dyes. And they will all go in the scarf. This is really, I will always have one of these kind of scarves. This was, I don't know, from somewhere, I can't remember even where. I will always have one of these scarf shawly things on my needles because they are mindless and easy to travel with. So that is then my Skapie shawl scarf. So I suppose that I will not show you these two projects again soon, unless I've traveled or gone somewhere and worked on them. And that's not happening very often. I don't go out a lot and I don't travel a lot. So I might not show them to you next time because there might not even be any progress on them. But I think it's time for me to wrap this up. If you've made it up to here, thank you so much. And thank you for watching, and for all the, I appreciate all the lovely comments I get, and I appreciate all the, there's a few South African podcasters that I've mentioned in my previous episode that do mention me on their episodes, and I really do appreciate that. And I would love for you to subscribe if you haven't, and like this video so that I can get a little bit more exposure and maybe get more views, because if I don't get more views, I don't get any exposure. So thank you so much for watching, and have a lovely rest of the week. Bye bye.